welcome to Revelations of a Delusional Knitter. I am Angela, your host. This is episode 115, and it is Tuesday, April 21st, 2015. On to updates and housekeeping. Welcome if you are new. If you are returning, I thank you as always. Either way, hope you enjoy and continue to watch. The show can be found on YouTube, iTunes, the Ravelry board, Revelations of a Delusional Knitter, as well as delusionalknitter.com. And on to declarations. I've been working, as usual. Today, though, I had training. Today's actually my day off, but I had training. And so I met the coworker that also had training today with me up the street, and then we drove to another. It's a close town. It's not that far. It's only like 20 minutes. But I was familiar with where the training was, and he wasn't too sure, so he's like, "Oh, can I follow you?" Sure. So we met this morning and went there, and it was fine. It was pretty good, actually, because it was he used to be a police officer that was doing the class, so it was very interesting to hear his side of the story as an officer, since I'm a dispatcher, because I'm in a room and they're out there, you know. So it's very different. It was nice to have his point of view. Excuse me, I have super allergy problems today, too, by the way, so I apologize in advance, but I'm probably going to be all sniffly and throat cleary today. So yeah, that was good. It was funny because sometimes I just wonder why I thought this particular job would be a good idea ever, and then there are other times, just because, you know, if it's a bad day or whatever's going on. But then when I sit back and I think about it, and I break it down, I'm like, but really, what else would you do? You know, because I've worked in offices, I never liked it. I've worked in manufacturing, I didn't really like it. Worked at a vet hospital, which did like the animals and stuff, but and it's funny because as a dispatcher, you're just asking questions all the time, and you're trying to do it fast, and that's just my nature. Like if somebody, a lot of people, family members mostly, because my friends are my friends, so they obviously like me for a reason, right? So it's usually people who have to like me think I'm rude. And I'm not rude. It's just my nature. If you're telling a story, it's my nature to interrupt and ask questions all the time and speed you through your story. I've always been that way. And like my husband, it's funny because we're very different people. And he, over the years, I've noticed and adapted, and he to me, you know, both together, that's how you get along and still be married, right? So he's actually, with me, trained me almost to recognize when I do that, because he'll be speaking and I will interrupt him non-stop and like finish his sentences and this, that, and the other thing. And now we've been together 16 years. And I can just see the look on his face change. And he doesn't say anything, and he doesn't stop me, because otherwise why would he be here, right, if he couldn't deal with me? And I just think it's funny because when I have bad days and I'm not sure I want to do this job anymore, I sit back and think about things like that. And then I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this is all that you can do. And be happy, you know, in general, be happy doing. So it's just funny. But the training today even reinforced that, because things like that, you know, all-day trainings or something that you're actually interested in reinforce you to be like, you know, I do like my job sometimes. So that was just interesting. So it was a good day. Decided to record when I get home because I didn't know what else to do with myself, and tomorrow is my second day off. And I was like, you know what? I just want to have the whole day off tomorrow to do whatever I want to do and not have to worry about recording. So here we are. Traveling monsters. I have a new traveling monster buddy to show you. She's super cute. This is Juliana. She's a Love Bot. So she's the Rebecca Danger Love Bot pattern. I'm wondering if she was made in a cottony type yarn too. You can kind of feel it. But anyway, this is Juliana. So she arrived the other day. She'll be here till next week. So hopefully we get to take her out and get some nice photos of her. And having a lot of fun with that. Let's see, we had the Defarge Does Shakespeare Give-a-Way. So let's do that. So we had 2 through 17 entries. I'm going to do random number generator. And that's going to be number 5. Excuse me. And number 5 is going to be P Panther 88, and that is Becky. So congratulations, Becky. We'll get you a copy of that book. On to Revelations. I have some really cool FOs to show you this episode. It's also why I wanted to record, because one of them I would like to wear, but I've been waiting until I recorded. I finished them the other day. I'm not sure exactly when. Maybe it might have been like 5 days ago. The Down the Rabbit Hole socks are done. Yay! I'm very, very happy with them. They came out really good. And I really like the yarn. This is an old yarn. She doesn't dye anymore, so the colorway was Squirt, and it's Beyond Basic Knits. I did, however, notice once I washed them, the purple bled into the white, which is fine. But yeah, as you can see there, some of the purple bled into the white next to it, but that's okay. This was a really cool knit. It's a free pattern by Pearlescent on Ravelry, and it's an excellent pattern, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun because it was just enough to keep you busy, so you know, it wasn't boring, plain old stockinette socks, but it wasn't overly complicated either. So I'm very happy to have those done, and they're washed and blocked and ready to wear. And the other thing I have, the new rotation of Hogwarts at Ravelry started. And this rotation's creature feature was a unicorn. And I've been wanting to make this unicorn out of the 50 Yards of Fun by Rebecca Danger. It's this book here. And so I decided this was the perfect opportunity to get that done. And it was a really quick knit. It's only like 3 days. And this is my little unicorn. I love it. I had bought some yarn intentionally to make this. I bought some, it's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. Bought a whole bunch of colors to make some stuffies, but I did buy this goldish color and some white just to make a unicorn. So that's my unicorn, and it's super cute. Pattern's very good. You start with a Turkish cast on. I just used Judy's Magic cast on like I do for top socks because it's pretty much the same thing, but I find Judy's to be a little bit easier. And all of the limbs, including the ears and the horn, are picked up and then knit, so there's no sewing. All you have to do is weave in all the ends from the color changes and, you know, reattaching the yarn, but all you do everywhere is pick up stitches and then continue to knit, all done in Magic Loop. Really, really cool. So I'm very, very happy with this one. It's super cute. And I entered that for some points on Hogwarts. That was cool. Let's see, what else do we have in Revelations? The Knitters Guild Association Master Hand Knitter Program I still have to do. I haven't done. However, I think I found a couple of prompts that I can fit some swatches into for Hogwarts. That may get me moving on that one. Sophie's Universe. I am halfway through Clue 4. I had to stop for a little bit because my forearms were starting to bother me from too much knitting, spinning, and crocheting, so I put it down for a little while. But I did get about halfway through Clue 4, so it's coming along really good. Now you can see it's starting to square off. The last couple of times I've showed it, it's been round. Now it's starting to square off, so that's really cool. And again, excellent pattern. Really well done. I also found somebody, of course I don't know her name, right? But with the permission of the designer, did tutorials for every single clue, every single step. So that was really cool. Video tutorials on YouTube. The photograph tutorials and the pattern itself are wonderful, but it's very nice to actually go see somebody do it on video and know that you're doing it correctly. So that's been very helpful as well. Most of the time I usually do it from the pattern and then go look at the video and go, oh good, I did do that right, you know, or if I'm having trouble trying to figure something out, then I'll go look at the video. So that's really cool. So since I finished my Down the Rabbit Hole socks, I started my next socks, and those ones I've shown on the podcast before. I forgot to bring the pattern up today on my tablet, but they're the Far Me socks. and they have little colorwork sheep on them. So that they start out with a blue, and then they have little sheep, and then green for like grass. So that's really cool. So I just started the cuff. I only have like 5 rows done. What I figured I would do is I'll do one whole cuff, the other whole cuff, and then I'll split the ball of green and then finish up the 2 socks together, because I have one ball of each of the top colors and it's not even going to use a ball, so I didn't want to bother sitting here splitting up these balls to do 2 and 2 at the same time. I'll just do one cuff, the other cuff, and then I'll split up the green, because that will be the whole like leg, heel turn, foot, and everything on the green. So that's about it for Revelations right now. I'm just going to continue to work on Sophie and my new socks, and hopefully the knitter, Master Hand Knitter program one of these days. I will pull it out of the closet. For string theory, the spin along with Smog, I finished one skein. I believe I showed myself plying it on the last episode. So I did finish up that skein, and here it is. So what I did was I plied, I spun up a whole spindle full, and then I wound it onto a plying ball, and then I chain plied it on a supported spindle, and it came out pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. I did break the yarn 2 or 3 times and had to reconnect it, and there are some bits where I was too busy fiddling with the spindle and the chain that it unwound the single a little too much, but other than that, it came out pretty good. And this is not even washed yet, so I'm very, very happy with that. That was pretty cool and lots of fun. Somebody on a Ravelry board asked me if I would do a video of it, which I will. Probably in the summer though, because even what my response to her was, I don't know that anybody wants to see me chain plying on the support spindle right now. It's awfully clumsy. So I'll have to practice that a little bit more, and then I can do a video for you guys. I'm still spinning up some of that Angora on the Russian spindles. They look the same. And I did find something that I would love to do as a long-term project. Oh, I didn't show. So once I finished that skein, I took the rest of the bat and I split it into 2. So I have 4 each of these, like the colors. So I have 4 of these that slowly gradiate to a darker color, and then I have 4 of these that slowly get darker than this. And I was just I'm spinning them each on 2 separate spindles, and then I was just going to 2-ply them together. So that's what I'm doing with the rest of the bat. And I got an awesome spindle. This is a Malcolm Fielding Dervish, which I've wanted forever. And somebody was de-stashing one, so I snapped it up, and it's gorgeous. And it's a wonderful spinner. It's a beautiful spindle, so I grabbed this one. I like it a lot. So that's the orange half. And then I got my Smog, which is the whole point of the spin along, was that he came up with the new spindle. Mirkwood Arts and Fibercrafts, he came up with a new spindle, a Smog, because they're all named after Lord of the Rings characters. And I ordered a Smog, and they finally arrived. And as you can see, this is the darker of the bat, and this is Smog. Very dragon-like, right? It's a gorgeous spindle. It's awesome. And I got a, I'm not even sure how to pronounce this. It's a flower, a cyclamen. It's like a purpley pink color stone for this one. So that's that. I'm not sure how well the camera's going to pick it up, but that's the stone I got for this one. It's a lovely spinner. It's very different than my Gimli. It's a bit heavier. It spins slower, but it spins longer than my Gimli. So those are the, sometimes the trade-off with sport spindles. So that's going well. So this other project, I was looking around. I don't even know how I came upon this shawl, but it's called a hap shawl. And hap is a medieval word that meant to like wrap or comfort. So a lot of times with the hap shawl, it's a Shetland shawl. A lot of times what the purpose of it is like a baby blanket. But you can also just fold it in half and wear it as a shawl. And a lot of traditional Shetland spinners, in times past, wore them as shawls. This is an example of the hap shawl. So it's a square shawl, it typically has that traditional feather and fan lace around it and those colors. So I was poking around, blogs and stuff, and that's how I found it. Then I found on Craftsy, Gundren Johnson has a Craftsy class for it. She's from Shetland. And I was looking at the pattern on Ravelry, and it was like $5 or $6. And the Craftsy class was on sale for $20. And I was like, why don't you just get the Craftsy class? Because you get the pattern with it, right? So I did that, so I had that. What I was thinking was the border colors. I was like, I've got so much fiber, I could just spin up the border colors and then, just to have some hand spun in there. Then I was thinking more about it, and I was pricing out Shetland yarns to do it in, and it would be quite expensive. It'd be $50 or $60 to get enough Shetland fingering weight yarn to do a whole shawl. So I was like, that's really not... It's ridiculous is what it is. With the stash that I have and the fiber that I have, it's just silly for me to spend that much money on yarn. So then I thought about it some more. I have a Shetland fleece that I've had for years that's washed and everything. I combed some of it. And I was like, you really have been sitting on this fleece? Because it's a gorgeous, wonderful fleece. I'll bring some of it out for the next episode. And I was like, I really think that you should spin up the fleece for this shawl, because I've been sitting on it because I don't know what I want to do with it, and I spun some of it just to sample it, and it spins wonderfully fine, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So this project will be ongoing for a long time, I'm sure. Like, I would be surprised if I got this done in a year, but you will see that, because I'm going to try and spin it up. I'm probably going to break it up, because I'm not just going to spin this Shetland forever, right? I'm probably going to spin other things in between. But that is something I would really, really like to do. So stay tuned for that. The other thing I would like to do, I have the Into the World Club, and I've always wanted to combine 2 braids together for 8 ounces of fiber. And I finally found a pair that I think would really go well with that. There are color pairs I found that I thought would go well with that, but they were 2 different fibers, which is totally doable, but I might have a tad bit of OCD. And then I got this one recently. This was my March one that I think I just showed, the Eureka. This one was April of last year, Horse with No Name. And they're both BFL, straight, no superwash. So I really think these two would go wonderfully together. Because this one just looks like a more bright one of this. This one looks more muted one of this, right? I think so. Blues, teals, browns. So I'm also going to strive to do that. Again, 8 ounces of fiber. It's going to take a while. Probably just going to 2-ply it. And if I spin it up, hopefully I would get like a sport or a DK weight, but my default spinning is very fine fingering, so that may also take a long time. Good thing I have 2 wheels, right? I don't know if I have enough bobbins. But that's another big spinning project I would love to do, because I have yet to, in my few years of spinning now, take on a project with a purpose. I just spin fiber to spin fiber. I don't actually ever have an intentional purpose ahead of time. These are 2 examples of projects where I would actually have a purpose prior to starting spinning. So I'd like to do that. Okay, for scrolls, no book reviews this episode. I don't have anything to review. I do have one thing that I will review shortly in the future. I have another cooperative press book that they actually sent me last fall, but the patterns and yarns are geared towards like light, airy summer things, so I'll do that one shortly. Testaments. I did buy another knitting bag recently because I was just poking around Etsy, but I saw this one and I was like, I think I need to have that. It's Kicks and Giggles shop, and they also were a donor to the Finish Him Knit Along, so I have no problem supporting people who donate. So I bought it. It's got these awesome cats on it. I love it, and it's a perfect, spinning or sock size bag. Very nicely done. Even as mentioned in the product info, the edges of the zippers are covered up with fabric so they won't catch on anything. It's got a wonderful, you know, wrist band or just a handle for you to pick it up. The sewing is excellent. The fabric is really nice. The zipper is awesome. It's got a cute little wood bead for the pull on the zipper. It has coordinating fabric inside. And it's also got on the other side, it's got a little tab with a little hook. So you could hook it on your bag or carabiner or whatever you would like to do with it. So really nice features on the bag. Love the fabric. It is a wedge bag too. It's box bag, so it should stand flat if you have enough stuff in it. So that's Kicks and Giggles. And yeah, I love it. I could not pass up these cats at all. So that's Testaments. Intentions. Not a ton going on with designing. I still have some stuff to do. I'm just going to jump right over it because I'm just going to end up saying the same thing as I did as the last episode. We are testing the KAL mitts right now, and that's going good. Hearsay. Hogwarts, I said, had a new rotation start the other day, so I've been having fun with that. I don't think I mentioned it because I don't think I knew yet, but I am going to be a storyteller for the second year rotation. So I think it's in June or July. I'm going to have a thread. Awesome. So fun. So we'll get more into that when it gets closer to that. We have the new Sock Knit Along on the Ravelry board. Keep on Knitting on Socks 2015. We'll have some prizes for that quarterly, so go check that out. The Finish Him Knit Along wraps up in 9 days, so if you're participating in that, make sure you get your entries in for this month and the final entries. I have some Ravelry patterns for you today that are all situate around a theme, as usual, because that's just what happens. So, the first one I have is Olivetta by Bonnie Sanat, $6. I actually found this one the other day. And what interested me so much about it is something that I never think to do when designing shawls: colors. And this one is a really beautiful example of how to simply involve some color changes and lace in a shawl. It's gorgeous. So that's that one. The other one I found, well, this seems to be trending, this color thing, is Miss Wiss by Rami Hill. She's doing another. I have a couple of her year of shawls or 7 small shawls, things that she's done. This one again is a color and lace one. Really cool how those colors are combined in there. That one's $6.50 separately, or you can check her out, Rami Hill. And you usually get a couple of bucks off each pattern if you sign up for the whole ebook thing, and she releases them as they come out. And the other one is Reductor by Mark Smallin, and this one is free. And this is another one that's just really cool way to combine colors. And this one looks like it's a triangular shawl, but it's got a really elongated wingspan. So that's that one. And that one would be great if you ever just wanted to try out, you know, a shawl with different colors, because that one's free. So those are the Ravelry patterns for this episode that I found recently. Delusional Jabber. Arts and crafts drawing. I haven't been doing much else for drawing. I have been checking out the Craftsy class and some YouTube videos and stuff like that, but I haven't actually been drawing myself since I recorded last. It's kind of something you should probably actually physically do to get good at, but you know, whatever. Reading, I did start a book that I'm enjoying a lot. Audible, again, I racked up Audible credits and had to spend them before I lost them, so I downloaded Ready Player One by, oh shoot, I didn't write down the author's name. I'm not even going to try to do it from memory, but it's narrated by Will Wheaton, and it's really awesome. And then, because of the whole Hogwarts thing, and then I'm going to have the storyline, which is going to be in book 2, I figured I'm just going to go back, because they're quick reads, and read book 1, and then read book 2, and I'll be, you know, ahead of the game, and just review this, because I have a particular storyline thing to come up with prompts with for Hogwarts. So I'm reading book 1 right now on the Kindle before I go to bed. TV, Better Call Saul, I think I'm behind on. Gotta catch up on that one. Bates Motel, I think we're caught up on. That's one that my husband actually watches with me. And Last Man on Earth, I'm pretty much caught up on. I think there's 2 episodes left. I never noticed until the other day. I've mentioned before, I love Bob's Burgers. It's like one of my favorite shows. Carol on Last Man on Earth is the voice of Louise, who is like my favorite character on Bob's Burgers, and I never even noticed. I think she's a little bit of a higher pitch when she's Louise, but the funny thing was, every time I saw her on Last Man on Earth, I was like, man, why is her voice so familiar? And usually I place voices very quickly and very well, and I finally figured it out the other day. Gotham, I got caught up on. Yay! I believe I said on the last episode I was trying to marathon it because it was starting again, and I had gotten so far behind. Like, I watched the first 3 episodes when it came out, and then I got like ridiculously behind and couldn't catch up. I finally caught up, so I'm up to date on Gotham, so I can start watching that again. The following, I missed a couple episodes because they disappeared off on demand, so I just started again from, because they always do the last on and show you what happened, you can catch up. So I'm trying to get back on the following before I get too far behind. And the other one that started again is Outlander. And I like that one a lot. That one's really good. The last episode I watched was excellent. I think it was the first one of the new startup, and it was really good. So I still have one more Outlander to watch, and then there'll be another one on Saturday. So I'm trying to keep on top of that one as well so I don't get behind. And I think that's it for this episode. I have been talking a mile a minute because I'm trying to beat the clock before the camera shuts off. But I think I got everything in there. And yeah, I think that's it. So come on the Ravelry board and join us for some fun. I have some hopefully exciting things to show you guys in the future that I've planned out. That Hap shawl I really, really want to do. And some other stuff, and yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm really pumped about spinning up a project with a purpose and knitting it up. That's exciting. I'm excited about my new spindles, and that's it for this episode. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having a lovely spring. We got some pansies the other day. My husband did actually, because I had to work in the afternoon, so he went out and got some pansies. We have sun now. Sometimes we have rain too, but it's warm. We're not freezing here anymore. No more snow. It's fabulous. Light. And I think that's about it for this episode. I'm going a little loopy. So thanks again for joining me. Happy knitting and spinning.